Lifetime has done it again, y'all. Salt and Pepper Bio-Pic. It's time to talk about it. Let's go. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Klepcx FM, brought to you by WeAreCritics.com, a place where we talk about movies, television, pop culture, and if you're into that kind of thing, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you can be up to date of everything I'm talking about here today. Now, Lifetime, the network, has put out yet another biopic. This time, it follows the iconic female hip-hop group known as Salt and Pepper. That's right. Cheryl and Sandra. Sandy and Cheryl. Those are their real names, but they're known to the world as Salt and Pepper. You know, What a Man, Shoop, Push It. I gotta say, I don't know how. Actually, I do know. I honestly think at this point, like, people are turning into Lifetime for the quick check, the quick payout. Like, yeah, you guys want my story? Cut the check, because the story, the films, they're not getting any better. Like, here's the formula, right? They go out, they find some up and comers that you barely know. You may or may not have seen them in that, like, one episode of an old time soap opera or dramatic series or something, maybe one or two episodes, and they cast them as the leads or supporting cast members. None of them ever really resemble the people that they're playing, and there's so much. The story will pull you in, then it'll push you out, then it'll pull you back in, and then it'll push you out, but then it'll pull you back in, and at the end of it all, what you got is something that you're like, I mean, I kind of dealt with the fact that, you know, these characters were totally off, but it was entertaining enough to kind of watch, whether you're making fun of it or you actually kind of enjoyed it. And that's what brings me to the Salt and Pepper biopic, because that's literally how it feels. Let's talk about everything that is right with this thing. I thought that it was pretty cool, especially growing up in that era and knowing everyone that they're talking about. I can't tell you, like, some of it is so outlandish and so written in a certain dramatic style that I can't tell what's real and what's not. And even after the movie, when they do they have like a little breakout interview with us, the real Salt and Pepper, and I couldn't tell what was real and what wasn't. So you're just kind of forced to kind of just take what you see, regardless of whose side is what, and you know what really happened and how this didn't happen, and whatever the writer said happened. And speaking of writing, this thing was written by the gentleman who did the Bobby Brown story, and he also did the New Edition story, Abdul Williams. And he's also known for actually one of my favorite, well, not my favorite, but like a comedy that I kind of like. He wrote The Lottery Ticket, which I thought was a pretty entertaining film with Bow Wow. Kind of had the Friday vibes, but about a lottery ticket. It was cool. So he wrote this, and he also directed this. And it's written in a way where the drama is like over the top. Like, whatever was really happened, I'm pretty sure that a lot of stuff was kind of embellished a little bit to kind of pull in dramatic feel during certain scenes. But I liked the callbacks to the era of the time. It was cool to kind of see all the hip hop players of that time who kind of played a key role in the growing up, in the growth of their career. Seeing who they mix and mingles with, I was very, very excited to see that they included Kid and Play to a capacity, because I know that Kid and Play and that Camp and Herbie Love Bug and all of them played a very, very important role in Salt and Pepper's career. As you saw in the movie, they show that Play was the one that came up with the logo for the group, and he designed some of their outfits and things of that nature as well. Because at the time, Play from Kid and Play, he did have a clothing company. It was very short lived, and it didn't really take off like you know like we thought it would have, but because they were very fashionable. But no, didn't take off like that. But he was known for doing some pretty cool shit back then. Um, I love that aspect. I like that they brought in like they had who else they had? They had uh, they were at the Crush Groove premiere. If you guys don't know about Crush Groove, it's a 1985 hip hop film, loosely based, but mainly about the birth of Def Jam Records. Russell Simmons, Run DMC, and Rick Rubin. Sorry, Rick Rubin, who was Russell's dorm mate at the time. It's a very cool story based loosely on the growth of that. You have to check it out. It's one of my favorite movies growing up. Crush Groove with a K. Crush with a K. Groove. Check it out. So they're at the premiere of that, and at this premiere, they run into the Fat Boys. I'm going to be naming a lot of people. Some of y'all probably do not know, but these were very, very iconic rap stars at that time. This was before rap is where it is now, and these were the key players. So you have Run DMC, LL Cool J was there. Some of you will know LL Cool J. LL Cool J, the Fat Boys was there. I believe MC Hammer was in the building at some point. But I love that aspect of it. It was cool to see that. Then they take you on this really quick, brief journey. Like that's one thing about these movies with Lifetime is that they start so quick, like, and they're long. They're not short. Like, don't get me wrong. Like these movies are not like they're not like an hour and a half. This movie didn't feel like it was an hour and a half at all. Honestly, I don't know how long it was, but it didn't feel like it was at least 2 hours, I believe, and or maybe more. But they kind of rush the story a lot. They get to the point. That's a good thing. So anybody that was like a real fan of Salt and Pepper, they got to the point. Like they didn't bore you with a lot of nonsense or in between plot fillers or anything like that. They get to the nitty gritty. They get to the hit records, the hit songs, the studio time, how things were created. And I mean those are the good things. Like because it doesn't drag out. So recap. So the callbacks of all the hip hop stars of that era, and also the fact that this thing doesn't really drag, are really good key things about this movie. One more other key thing is the topics in which are touched, takeaways, I should say. I thought that, and they were kind of weak about it because there are relationship things that we know that some people may know that Pepper went through with her last famous boyfriend, who was Tretch from Naughty by Nature, which was another iconic group. If you guys don't know who they are, look them up. Naughty by Nature. Tretch was Pepper's boyfriend in the height of their career, like when they were like on the Shoot ride, like when that album came out, None of Your Business. And I feel like they held back because we know that it was a very toxic relationship. It was very abusive, and they weren't really showing. I don't know if it was because it was on TV, straight to TV, but they played it very, very. They didn't show you a lot, but you kind of got the gist of what was really going on. So, like I said, they got to the nitty gritty. They got to the good stuff. They tell you the things that you probably sat to watch to see without boring you. So that making it watchable and making it not unbearable. Now, they talk about a lot of mental health, things that we didn't know about the two women, about Cheryl and about Sandy. I didn't know that Salt was bulimic. She had a very tough time with self-image. That was like a big thing in that era with female entertainers. Size was a big deal. How you carried yourself, how you looked, your image was really, really, really scrutinized for the littlest thing, especially with having babies and things of that nature. So I didn't know she struggled with that. So that was cool to see, something I didn't know. Because a lot of times you see these biopics, like Queen, and you see things that you already know, and you're like, that's it. Yeah. So I thought that was cool. Mental health with Pepper. They dive into her relationship with Tretch. Like I said, a lot of people did already know about that. If you did it, I'm sure it was a shock to you and probably entertaining. But there were other things like her dependency on the people around her, her dependency on Salt, her dependency with Tretch, and and feeling unloved by the people in her life. That was cool. Those were really cool things to air out, or let the fans in on, as far as these women. So I appreciated those aspects of this film, that kept me engaged, it kept me watching. And then the fact they were dropping the hit records every once in a while, and you want to sing along, because it was cool. I remember the time vividly. Like, that was my era of music growing up in high school, and I'm always nostalgic. Like, I'm rocking, I'm on 90s out today. And I'm also wearing this hat and respecting my man Martin Lawrence, because now we're going to talk about the bad shit about this movie. Because where there was decent material and decent things, there is a lot of bad shit in this movie. But I mean, it's a Lifetime movie, and their track record, let's be real, people, their track record speaks for itself. The casting, shout out to Gigi Townsend and Layla Odom. I don't want to butcher her name. Layla Odom. Those are the two women who played Salt and Pepper. Now, in the beginning, it's a bit rocky, but by the end of this thing, you're kind of like, you know what, that's Salt and Pepper. There are moments where they got it. They got the rhythm. They are who they are. So I can't hold the whole movie on them. They do what they're supposed to do, and they do it decent throughout this film. By the end of it, you're just like, it's them. You're not really thinking about it until they do the weird thing where at the end of the film I don't know why, but they fade into the real Salt and Pepper, who look absolutely nothing like the women who play them throughout their entire career, because they don't change at all. They look exactly the same from the moment they started until their final performance at the Hip Hop Honors. Why they never changed them, I have no idea, but they look exactly the same throughout the entire movie. The casting outside of the two leads. Now, when I said that they had a lot of cameos, like they brought in a lot of callbacks to legendary rappers and things like that, there are also people who they were close with who knew them as teen girls, as college students, like Kid and Play, Herbie Lovebug, who was at the time Salt's boyfriend, who was the songwriter and producer for them for the first two albums, and I believe the third album as well. Martin Lawrence was there as well. So sorry, Martin. This is for you, brother. I'm wearing this for you because they did you dirty, brother. They did you so dirty. Listen. So Martin, Salt and Pepper, Kid and Play, not Herbie, but Martin, Kid and Play, Salt and Pepper, they all worked at Sears at the time in the call center. Martin is there. They show him. Salt introduces Pepper to him for the first time when they first meet, and he's supposed to be a comedian, and he's doing jokes and stuff. And this guy has no Martin in him whatsoever. Like, sometimes I'm like, maybe the look a little bit. No, he didn't even have, like, he had the ears. That's about it. But he didn't have the look. He didn't have the comedic swag of a Martin Lawrence. There's even a scene where he does a stand-up when he's opening up for Salt and Pepper, and they make this pact, like whoever makes it first is gonna put the other person on, which is dope callback. But nah, brother, I'm sorry, Martin. I didn't believe it. And I know if you see this thing, you probably. I hope that you put out some memes and some jokes about this later, because yeah, that wasn't it, brother. That wasn't you. And I want you to know personally that none of the fans, especially me, I didn't see you in that guy at all, or see him in you. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? He didn't bring it like he should have brought it. Tretch, Jesus. So, Salt, like I said, Naughty by Nature, Tretch, that guy who, no, that wasn't it. That wasn't it. And that's the thing. Like, Lifetime is known for this. they're known for this. Like, it's just, the story. I think we got to go into these things now just relying on the story. Just rely on the story. Don't care about who looks like who don't look like who. Like, it's not hitting home, man. It's not hitting home. Whew. The only casting that I think I appreciated, because it wasn't far off at all, was probably the Kid and Play. Like, those guys, like, that was Kid and Play. Like, I mean, it looked like a young Kid and Play at the time. It worked for me a little bit. Like, they didn't really get a lot of screen time, which was really kind of bummed, but I understand it's a Salt and Pepper story, not the Kid and Play story. But for what I saw, those guys played the role. Well, not that they played the role, they looked the part, because they really barely got any acting shine, and the little bit of talking they did, it really felt like it was Kid and Play. Speaking of screen time, they did Spinderella dirty. Now, for all of you that don't know who Spinderella is, Salt and Pepper at one point was a duo, which then became a trio. They had a female DJ. Her story was really cool. So I don't understand why she played such a minor role in this biopic about Salt and Pepper, because Spinderella played a huge role in that. I mean, that's the way they made it seem on the records and in the videos. I understand that Herbie was the writer, the producer, and all of that nature, and she was, and they changed their DJ too. And that gets explained in the story. It started out with a different Spinderella, who then Herbie kicked out, and then they hired the new girl Dee Dee, who became Spinderella. Again, he kept the name and he passed it on to her, and she was an actual DJ. The first girl wasn't really a DJ. The second one, Dee Dee, the real Spinderella that we know, was actually a DJ, and she was learning from her boyfriend, I believe. She was learning from her boyfriend and stuff like that. So even on tour, she was learning the mix and scratch. Like, I thought that was a cool dynamic. And she was the youngest. Like, she was underage. Salt and Pepper were going and doing these clubs, and she wasn't even old enough to be drinking at the time. So I thought that was a dope dynamic that they should have really keyed in on, especially for a key member of the group. And she had some words to say about that. The real Spinderella, that, she got, snubbed from the film. Like, this is history, and this is about a positive black woman in this industry who fought just like Salt and Pepper fought to speak their voice, and they just straight cut her out. So I thought they kind of did her dirty on that. I don't know. I don't even know how these things work. Like, these biopics, like, I don't know how they get the rights to play people who are just side characters. I don't know how they get the rights to just tell a story about somebody and then not want to mention somebody else. And I don't, I don't understand how Salt and how Pepper would have been cool with that, with them kind of. I mean, she's in there, but she's not in there. Like, she should be in there, I think. Especially knowing who she is. Like, I know Salt and Pepper, and I know Spinderella. I don't just know Salt and Pepper. Like, there's Salt and Pepper and Spinderella. So I mean, overall, I just want to talk about the casting, and it just didn't hit home for me. Like, the overall story got me through. It was entertaining enough to just keep going, but I honestly think it was just the music that did that for me, and just knowing the story about, oh, cool, that's how this song came about, then that's when this song came about. But other than that, this film serves no purpose. It's just like every other Lifetime film. Like, you go in with very, very low expectations, and I have yet to be wowed by a movie. The only biopic movie that I ever saw that was straight to TV that I really enjoyed was probably the New Edition story, and that was BET. It wasn't even Lifetime, but this guy directed that, and he directed this, so I know it's out of his hands. He's got to deal with the Lifetime network now, and he's doing this. But the story was decent. The story was okay. You'll get through it. But it's a very, very poor piece of work, like the rest of their biopics. And yeah, that's all I got to say. You let me know. What did you guys think? Did you sit up and watch the Salt and Pepper biopic, or the Let's Talk About Salt and Pepper right after it? I wasn't a fan of that either. I thought it was very fluffy and it didn't even seem like they really got along. It feels like they're still kind of playing friends. But yeah, I don't know. The whole thing just kind of felt forced. And let me know what you guys thought. Like, share, comment. Make sure you subscribe. Let me know what you thought about the show. Am I off? Did you actually like it? And I'm just being slanderish, whatever. We're here to chat about it. I'm here for it all. Also, if you guys like movie news, television news, and our podcast, Critics Talk, make sure you guys check out wearecritics.com. And I will talk to you all later. Peace.